Hey all, Eskie here, bringing you some more Deadlock gameplay. So this is a review of mine very recently after the Geist buffs. This is a fairly high MMR lobby, and I think this really showcases the power of bomb build right now. So if you didn't know, her bomb got buffed, the scaling and the T3 damage of it got buffed, so you're going to be doing a lot of damage as bomb build, which is my preferred build as Geist. So let's take a look at it. So let's look at the lanes real quick. So it's me as Geist with Vindicta, and then an Infernus and a Viscos. So one big thing to think about here is, especially if Infernus gets the first tier of his burn, I'm going to be dealing a lot less spirit damage. So that's just something to, keep in mind. If he applies burn to me, it's probably not a good time to fight. I want to back off at that point. Viscos also in early lane is not that bad, but once he gets, a few items, probably 2 or 3 purples, he really gets going and his harassment's going to hurt a lot. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So I'm just using the basic Geist build that I made in the other video. Basically, first point goes into 3 and the second point goes into 1. So I get my 3 first. I like my 3 early on because the majority of your damage is coming from your gun at that point, and a lot of the stuff you're going to see me buy here is very gun based because your cooldowns are a bit longer in the early game. You don't have any cooldown reduction or anything. You're also not wanting to use your abilities that frequently, only really when you get a guaranteed, bomb, guaranteed malice, because you're damaging yourself at that point, and if you damage yourself, you don't get any damage on the enemy. That's not a favorable trade for you. And then, yeah, second poised into bomb, and I'm just going to max bomb at this point because this is bomb build after all. So, yeah, really focusing on the early lane here, just kind of putting pressure on them, trying to harass them as much as I possibly can. I don't know if you just saw me do it there, but I want to make sure that I'm hitting the healing minion first so that their lane sustain is a lot less than it would be if they were standing next to that minion. I think it's a really good practice to just almost always go for that minion first, as long as you have the angle on it. So we got that Infernus really low. The Vindicta got a really good stake there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get the kill. But now what we want to do, that we've been pressuring them, we really want to push into their turret. That way, let's say the Infernus has to go back, he's going to miss those souls. And then another thing about buy timing. So if you saw me there, we pushed into their turret once all of their minion wave was dead. Then I went back to buy. I think it's important to get your buy timing down too. You don't want to miss many souls. So once you have the wave pushed into their turret, that's always a great time to buy, depending on, are they back? Are they there? But because the Infernus had gone back, there really wasn't much to do other than harass the Viscos. Maybe you could have denied or tried to get the denies there, but it was better because I had about 1,300 gold at that point. I wanted to go buy. You don't want to hold gold for too long. I think, my maximum is probably around 1,300 to 1,500 early lane because you really want to spend that money and get items so that they can help you fight in lane. So just trying to get denies here, putting pressure on them. I think I missed... Maybe if I hit my malice there, I could have gotten... I think that my malice went into the stairs there. Yeah, guys got new sound effects too. Those are really messing with my head. So some early buys here. Restorative shot. I just really love that on Geist. Gives you some sustain. High velocity mags. Helps you with denies and last hits. And then enduring spirit. Something I didn't initially like, but... if you don't have that hard of a lane, usually I swap between either Enduring Spirit if I'm winning lane or Extra Regen if I'm not winning lane. And it's always best to... that was a bad bomb on my part. It's always best to punch the minions if you can so that the enemy doesn't have the opportunity to last hit them. So just trying to put pressure on this Infernus here. Oh man, Vindicta Mr. Snipe. Really close there. I'm going to go around and see if I can get him, but he did run into the shop. And it's just not really worth to chase at that point. Kills in the early game are good if you can get them, but you really want to focus on last hitting, you want to focus on denying, and then you want to try to get the turret before they... sorry. You want to try to get the Guardian as soon as possible. So some more early items here. Enduring Speed is my preference on Geist. I think you can get stamina too. I think it can really go either way. I prefer enduring speed, and there's that viscose damage. Let's see how many items he has right now. So yeah, he's sitting at 3 right there. So I'm just going to go back here. I don't want to die. We're already pretty far ahead of them in lane. Vindicta has, you know, 1,000 more souls in the Infernus. So I don't want to risk dying. I have my speed up. It's an easy back for me. So that's why I decided to do that. You know, I don't want to give away this lane that we're already winning by dying. And Viscose, you know, has some pretty crazy abilities, can come out of nowhere. And then Berserker is my favored early game weapon damage. I mean, you're just able to use it really well. You struggle for ammo, so that's a good thing. One thing I didn't know that I just learned this game was actually that the hero inside of Viscose's goo, I think, still allows you to stack Malice on them. So even though they're in the goo, they're not going to take damage. You can still stack Malice. So Paradox rotated over there. Let's go to my Vindicta. See if she can get a kill here. Probably not. Yeah, that was rough. So Paradox rotated over, I believe, from... I actually don't know where. Oh, okay. They do not show the colors of the lanes on the map anymore. Are you serious? That's annoying. I thought in previous replays you could see the color on the map. So Paradox rotated over from wherever he rotated over from. I think my big mistake in that fight in particular was I punched through the wall. So when you go through Paradox's wall, you take damage. That was a mistake on my part. I think I also ulted a bit too soon there. I probably should have taken a bit more damage before I ulted. I think I had line of sight on at least 1 or 2 of them at that point. And it was just mainly Paradox, so I should have waited a little longer there to ult. I try not to wait too long to ult because, you know, you can get really low health, and let's say they, you know, have a bunch of stamina, they dodge away from you, you're not able to get your ult off. So I try not to hold it for too long, but there is definitely a fine line between ulting too soon and holding it too long. But I think so just rotating over to try to help this Vindicta. Infernus is rotating as well. Is this Grey Talon going to rotate? Spoilers, he doesn't. And I was a little bit salty about that. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I'm literally behind the turret right here. 1v2. And this Grey Talon is just sitting right there, man. I don't know what he's doing. And then I opted for an early Spirit Lifesteal here. If you look at my build, it's a bit further down in the order of things. But like I've mentioned before, you really want to think about in-game, what do you want? What do you need? Are you taking a lot of harassment? Do you feel tanky enough and you just want more damage? Really be thinking every time you're playing, as you're playing, oh man, I feel like I'm getting chunked by this Viscose. Let me get a Spirit Lifesteal so that it's easier for me to sustain. Just like that, because he just chunked me for a good, you know, quarter of my health right there. So that's why I decided to get Spirit Lifesteal.
I don't go selling these to just anyone.
Missed my bomb there. That was kind of bad. Just always be stacking your Malice as well. I think Malice, it doesn't do that much damage to you. And if you can get a few Malice stacks on people, especially with the buff bomb at this point, you're going to be dealing a lot of damage with your bomb. So anytime you get the opportunity, really just use Malice and try to keep stacking on the enemy team. You never know when a fight's going to break out. And Malice itself actually deals a pretty good amount of damage once you get some spirit items. Oh man, that Viscose hurts.
The old New York tuxedo.
So just look at my skill build here real quick. I have 2 points into bomb. The next skill point I'm waiting for is 5 on bomb as well. Like I said, tier 3 bomb got buffed along with its spirit scaling. So maxing bomb first is just really, really awesome. You're going to be doing a ton of damage to the enemy team once you get some spirit items online. A new thing to keep in mind, I don't know how much you guys read patch notes, but I think I hit the Bebop. I was going to say Abrams. I hit the Bebop with my bomb there, which was pretty crazy. I did not expect to do that. And then I do a bomb like that and completely whiff, so. So got a line of sight the Hazel here. I think that was a good ult at that point. And I don't get the... Oops, sorry. I don't get the kill there. Very disappointed in that. I feel like I probably whiffed a shot or two. I was a little bit salty about that one. So now I have 5 in bomb. I'm going to be dealing a ton of damage. I don't know if you guys saw there. But not only am I dealing a ton of damage with the Spirit Lifesteal, I'm going to be healing as well. And then once you get Leech online, you get Healing Booster online, you're just extremely tanky because of all the healing you're doing, because you're dealing so much damage. So a few more items here. Enduring Speed and Soul Shredder Bullet. Soul Shredder Bullet is just great. Gives you more Spirit Lifesteal. And then Enduring Speed, I like to move around the map a lot, and that helps you. You know, Geist doesn't have a lot of mobility, so that's going to help you move around the map a lot better and quicker. So anytime you see a pushed lane like this and no one's going to it, you should go to it. Once again, I try to emphasize this, but early game, kills are not that important. You farming is going to be what's important so that you can get a souls lead. And once you get a souls lead, you'll hit a few breakpoints. Maybe you'll get a couple 3K items. Maybe you'll get a 6,200 item, not 6,300 anymore. And once you hit those item breakpoints, that's when your power spikes and you want to start fighting at that point. So I know that while, yes, I'm pretty much on par with everyone in farm, if you look up top, Infernus is a bit farmed. But other than that, everyone's pretty much level. Lash is a bit farmed too. So what I want to be doing right now, protecting my lanes, making sure they don't get any walkers. If we still have a Guardian, definitely protect that too. Also be, you know, always be farming. Do the jungle camps. Prioritize lane minions first, though, because the jungle camp is going to be there. It's not going anywhere. The lane minions are going to die to either other minions or guardians. So prioritize the lane farm, then prioritize the jungle farm. But if all the lanes are pushed, if everyone's, you know, already farming the lanes, then you can rotate on a jungle farm. And so, yeah, so I just hit my first breakpoint, which is 3K. That's what I was looking for, why I was farming those minions. And so I decided to go Warpstone here with my first 3K. Once again, not exactly following my build order, but trying to adapt to what's in game. The big reason I'm doing this is, look at the ultimates that they have, right? They have Lash ult, they have Hazel, they have Bebop Hook, they have Infernus ult. All of those are great uses of Warpstones so that you can move out of them. You can line of sight the Lash ult, the Hazel. You can, if you get hooked by Bebop, you can Warpstone out of there to prevent you from dying. So that is my main motivation behind going for Warpstone there. I want to have enough mobility to avoid all of these big impactful ults that they have. I actually haven't been building a lot of spirit items early on. I think with the bomb changes, it feels to me like your bomb does enough damage where you don't actually need to build a lot of spirit damage early on because your bomb's already doing enough. That being said, you can, and that's totally fine. I just think it's not required anymore because of these bomb buffs, which I'm loving. They're amazing. So just rotating over here, I saw that the Lash was pushing, and this new minimap is really fucking with me. Because it's not from, like, the right perspective, right? Like, they're the bottom. I would expect my team to be the bottom. So this replay change is really messing with my brain. So basically, I saw the Lash there. I knew that he was pushing the wave. I could have gone and fought with my team, but I think it's actually better in that case to match the Lash. The Walker doesn't have that much damage on it, so it's very likely that I could stop it from dying. Lash would probably be able to take it. You know, he's definitely not the most dangerous when it comes to solo taking walkers. You know, you think about people like Wraith or Haze in that case. But not allowing them to get a walker is a really big deal, especially when it comes to things like flex spots. So after I got that, I think I still have my speed, or maybe a little bit of my speed. And I was able to get back here and then help with the fight, help with the walker defense. So that is one of the big uses for me of zipline speed in the mid game. You really want to be conservative about it and only use it in scenarios where, hey, they're going to take a walker. I need to go rotate back. Hey, I need to get to this team fight really fast. Let me use my speed. Other than that, I really would not use speed unless you absolutely have to. Really save it for those times where you want to be rotating somewhere, saving a walker, things like that. So I hit a pretty big bomb there. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it was a pretty big chunk of damage. I do have improved verse now, which is helping that. But if you see, I only have 2 spirit items. Obviously, you have Soul Shredder, which helps. You do get some spirit from Warpstone, but I only had 2, and I'm chunking these guys. So these bomb changes, they've been pretty great as Geist main. So now coming back to some of my item decisions. So once again, kind of just following my build for the most part, but the decision I'm making is I'm thinking to myself and saying, do I feel tanky enough? Do I feel threatened at all? I really haven't gotten hooked yet. The enemy team is not really threatening me. We have a fairly decent front line in Warden, and they haven't really been able to get on to me. You know, they've been dealing with my other teammates. I haven't felt that threatened, so I don't feel like I need to build green items at that point. I feel like I can continue to amp my damage. Just trying to rotate over here, save some walkers. I don't end up getting it, but, you know, a good thing to do if you are there, try to deny as many souls as possible. So even if they, you know, did get that flex slot or something, they're not going to get as many souls from the walker. So skill build here real quick again. So I went all the way up here in Essence Bomb, and then I went all the way up in Malice as well. Having these extra 6 blood shards, especially mid to late game, is so impactful because you're going to be able to hit Malice on multiple people. And because it's going to be up so much, you're going to be able to stack your damage amp on multiple people. And then when you eventually throw your bomb, you're going to be hitting really big bombs in the mid and late game. And those are going to help turn team fights because you're going to chunk people. They're going to have to either go back or they're going to get caught and they're going to die. So that is a big impactful thing. One of the reasons I like maxing Malice second. So I was thinking here, hey, could I save enough money to get my 6,200 item, which would be Leech? But I thought to myself, no, I really just need to fill my slots out. Healing Booster is such a big, impactful thing on Geist now because of the healing reduction resist. So that's why I decided to not save for 6,300 there. I also knew that we were going to fight here coming up. And I really don't think we should have taken this fight, if I'm honest. I'm pretty sure someone got picked. Yeah, so Wraith got picked if you look at her death timer up there. Once you're down a character like that, it's... especially if you're even on farm, they're actually ahead of us by 9k. The Lash is pretty fed, so is the Infernus. Once you're down and you're behind on souls, it's just so difficult to win those fights that you really just need to rotate off, leave it at that point. So they got those kills. They did mid-boss. I don't want to go in there and try to take it because I don't want to stagger my death timer. I want all of us up as 6 to defend the base. So what I'm thinking here is let me go push lanes because when they have Rejuvenator, the minions are going to be stronger. They're going to naturally be pushing. So I want to delay that as long as possible. And then I want to also come over here and take the camps so that I can get my farm up so that if they push this lane, they're not able to take the camp. So just rotating back over here. One of the big things with when the enemy team has Rejuvenator, you really have to stay within close proximity of your base. They're already going to have the benefit of Rejuvenators, so your lanes are going to keep pushing. And usually with good teams, they're going to be roaming together trying to get picks so that it makes it easier to push into your base. And if you see on the minimap right now, they're pretty much all together. Infernus is by himself pushing that lane. Bebop is doing Earn, but they're pretty much all grouped up. So you want to stay relatively grouped up with your team. So when they have Rejuvenator, I'd say group with your team, but make sure all the lanes are pushed as well because you don't want them to get free things like base guardians or something like that because they have the powerful minions. So just trying to avoid dying here. Once you get a kill, it might be better, but you don't want to push too far out of your base when they have Rejuvenator because even if they do die, they're going to be right back up. But full credit to my team here. They pushed hard on that. We were able to get a bunch of kills off that, which is great. They really didn't get much in the base, although this Lash is back, and I'm calling for that now. Hey, Lash is back, and Lash is behind us. We need to go kill him. So if you see he has Soul Rebirth right there. I don't know if you guys noticed, but when they're sitting right there with that green glow around them, they have Soul Rebirth. So you want to make sure to stay there and kill him when he comes back up. You can also tell he has Soul Rebirth because of the little suitcase looking thing on his character portrait. I think Rejuvenator overrides it. So if you have both Rejuvenator and Soul Rebirth, I think Rejuvenator shows first. Now it's not showing because I believe it's on cooldown, but when it does show, that means he has Soul Rebirth. So I did think about going for that Bebop, but I didn't know where his team was at that point. And, you know, now we're getting close to them. They had basically been leading up to that point, but they didn't use their Rejuvenator that well. We were able to get a bunch of kills off of that. So now we're even. So what I really want to do here is try to play off my team, get as much farm as I can, continuing to do that. But play off my team and let's try to get picks now because the game's fairly even at this point and we can push them. And, oh yeah, I did get Leech. So that's almost always my first 6,200 item. Oh man, the Paradox Wall. So we have the advantage right now. We already killed Bebop, so we want to be pushing this. Trying to push our advantage, having an extra player here. I think I did call for a back at this point because we are having lanes get pushed. I wish I could tell you guys the colors. The side lanes, I don't know why they changed the minimap like this where I can't see colors. Maybe there's a setting I'm missing. Kind of sucks though. So Wraith went to contest the side lane. I'm contesting this lane. We don't want them to push and get anything useful. We also want to keep the lanes pushed to keep pressure onto them. Now that we're actually leading in souls here. So we want to try to start taking back map control. So my team is fighting on the left lane there. I know that I'm not going to be able to get there in time. Like, it's just not possible. I'm Geist. I don't have a ton of mobility. I'm pretty sure my zip's on cooldown too. So what I want to do here is, as they're fighting over there, I want to get this walker. And another thing to note, as Geist, you can stack your Malice on walkers and guardians, so make sure you're doing that. It's going to help you take them a lot faster and keep you safer so that you can take it and get back without dying. So now I just need to rotate to base back here. I don't want to die. That's very important. Once again, we don't want to stagger death timers. I just want to contest them as much as I can to keep them off of our base. You know, I don't want to get Bebop took. I don't want to get Paradox swapped. So just trying to clear the wave there so they can't get the base guardians and wait for my team to come up. So especially at this stage of the game, one of the things we really want to be looking at is trying to get our next flex slot. So we need a shrine or we need to destroy all walkers. So that's really what we're looking to do at this point. Obviously, if mid-boss is up, we could look to do that too. But we want to push. We want to try to get one of these flex slots open because I'm pretty sure most people are slot locked at this point, and you're going to have to start selling things to get those extra slots. So those are your big objectives, especially in the mid to late game, is doing these objectives to get your flex slots so that you can, you know, get more powerful items, not have to sell any 2s or 3s. So my next buy was Mystic Reverb. I put that on Malice. I really like Mystic Reverb better than Escalating Exposure right now because it makes chasing people easier. With the slow and all that, it's just really, really good. I'm liking it a lot. So I just want to back off here. We already have 2 dead. Ivy was extremely overextended there. I don't know why she was up that far. But so we have 3 dead now. And they are back in the lead, actually. And spoilers. I feel like this has been a bug in replays for a while where it says, it said a Furnace captured the Rejuvenator, but they're actually doing it right now. It just says it super far in advance from when it actually happens. So that was just a bad team fight. We had some people die there. We didn't. I think we were only able to get the Paradox kill there. So once again, making sure lanes are pushed, making sure I don't die, trying to get a good team fight so that we can turn this around. Obviously, they've gotten 2 Rejuvenators at this point. So once again, staying close to the base. Maybe if you find someone by themselves, you can get a pick, but farming as much as possible to try to keep yourself strong so that when they do push, you can try to take a favorable team fight. Oh, excuse me. And then skill build here real quick. So I did get 1 point in life drain, and then I also got 1 point in ultimate. Usually mid-late game, I want 1 point in ultimate because it's such a long cooldown. Having that, you know, having it be a less long cooldown because you're going to be fighting so much more. I really like that 1 point. But other than that, I'm just going straight up to life drain. Having that silence is so nice, especially when people dive you. So we already have 1 dead here. I feel like this is actually probably a bad fight on our part. Although we are able to avoid the Haze ult there. And get the Bebop. But they haven't... Oh man, I just got lash ulted. I don't know what happened there. I wasn't even sure what happened in game, how I got pushed so far. But we're actually turning this team fight here. Trying to taste this lash. Man, I will say that Mystic Rebirth makes it so much easier to chase people. Like having them slowed like that with your Malice is just so nice. So we were actually able to win that fight. Grey Talon got picked pretty early there, and then Warden went down. But I'm dealing a lot of damage at this point, and the team's playing really well. So even though they had Rejuvenator there, we were able to turn that fight around, push them back. But right now at this point, if you look at our base, we have both side lanes pushing and this lane. So one of the mistakes I do see lower MMR games make is once you have taken that Rejuvenator fight, you've basically won it, you've pushed them back, you keep pushing. You really should not keep pushing. You want to make sure your base is secure. So making sure that all those powerful minions are not going to take your base guardians for free. So you want to go back, you want to push all your lanes out, and then you can start taking more map control. Only 1 new item here, improved spirit armor. Basically, my rule for spirit armor on Geist is once I've gotten improved burst, I usually want to have level 1 spirit armor or the tier 2 item. And then once I've gotten, you know, probably a tier 4 spirit item, I want to get improved spirit armor because I don't want to be dealing too much damage to myself. And then I also got improved bullet armor. I mean, it just adds to your tankiness. I think pretty much any character you're going to play, excluding maybe like a Grey Talon or a Vindicta, you're going to want either shields or armors. So we were able to get 2 kills for free there. There was a good ult by that Wraith. So now is the time for us to push, be taking that map pressure, trying to get more kills, trying to get the Guardians so that we can get our flex slots because we're really hurting for those right now. So I'm just rotating over here, going to push this lane out. We probably need someone to push the side lane out as well. I'm not sure why this Warden's going there. He probably should have gone to push that side lane. We're also getting that lane pushed as well. But I'm rotating over here because this is their last walker. And like I said, once you get all the walkers down, you're going to get a flex slot. So that was what the team was calling. That's what I was calling. I was like, hey, guys, we need to go get this flex slot. I'm sure all of us are hurting for slots at this point. So we just wanted to rotate over and get that and get out. We're actually up again in souls just by a little bit. But now I want to... Wait.
If you like that, I got some other stuff that fell off.
Is this bugged? I think this is bugged. It was locked and then it's empty. I definitely have another item here. That's weird. So yeah, right now, what I'm thinking about is I already have basically all my tankiness that I want, so I really just want to amp my damage. So superior cooldown on my bomb. That way, I'm doing more damage. I'm able to throw more bombs. So my position was a little bit bad there. I tried to come in behind them, but they turned on me. Thankfully, my team rotated out. And we're able to get some big kills on them. And this is really where we're able to turn the game around because that's 4 kills for 1. So now we're going to be able to push the map. 5 kills for 1.
Feel free to give up anytime.
I'm trying to think of what the other item would be. I can't remember if off the top of my head, if I'm honest. So yeah, we won this team fight. We want to push together. We want to get at least a shrine, so we unlock that last flex slot. I think we could in here. It's definitely possible, and we were talking about that in comms where it was like, can we end? No, I don't think so. We can at least get 2 shrines, if not down the patron. But we don't want to be too greedy, right? We had this giant lead. We had this awesome team fight. We took back map control. We don't want to throw the game by sitting here. Ivy is still dead. So we were able to down the patron, but we want to pull back at this point. Everyone has a bunch of money. I'm sure we want to buy. We want to use our souls advantage now that we're at, roughly 23K advantage. So you don't have to be greedy and try to end the game there, especially if their death timers are going to bring them up while you're trying to fight the weakened patron. You can always just go back, take your advantage, push your lanes out, try to take more map control, and then just start looking for picks or looking for mid-boss. So another big item I got here, Spiritual Overflow. I really, really like this item on Geist, but much later game. It's going to give you, obviously, a bunch of weapon damage because it's a T4 on weapon damage, but it gives you a bunch of other stuff that you love too. Spirit Power, Lifesteal, cooldown reduction, all of that good stuff. So really, at this point in the game, I feel like I'm tanky enough, and the only items I want to buy is items that are going to amp my damage. So Spiritual Overflow, Superior Cooldown, all of that stuff, just to get more and more damage at that point. So Wraith is split pushing. We're all grouped as a team, though, so we want to be looking for picks. Obviously, they're going to try to pick the Wraith as well. Wraith is such a good split push character there because I don't know if you saw her, but basically she blinked away. So you can be in separate lanes as Wraith and still be pretty safe even if they rotate on you because you have that super long distance blink. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for a pick. We want to keep our lanes pushed up so that we have that map control so that we can sit at midline or further. Look for buffs. Look for picks, get a mid-boss in the game, that type of thing. Take their jungle camps as well. So that's another thing I think is very important to do when you have map control. So what they were doing to us when they had map control was they were taking all of our jungle camps, which reduces our level of farm. So now that we have map control, what we want to be doing is taking their jungle camps, so that reduces their farm. So that's another great objective to have if you have map control. So just making sure lanes are pushed out here. They did get the urn there. I think late game urns are... they're pretty meh, in my opinion. Like, they're nice to haves, but you don't want to be dying over an urn. It's just not worth it. The two things you want to be dying over is pushing the enemy patron or getting mid-boss. I think those are the only two things that really matter in the late game. You can give up an urn. It's just not really worth it in the grand scheme of things when it comes to trying to win the game. Especially now, we still have like a 10k lead, so them getting an urn is not going to be that impactful. Most people are probably buying 6,200 items at this point.
I see Infernus.
So I did go down there and farm, but I saw that my team's fighting, so I need to get up here and help them. The Warden does get picked here. And so this can be a pretty dicey situation. We really need to be careful to not overextend. Sound cues are so important in this game too, because the reason I was able to get that Viscose kill was because I heard Race Ultimate behind me. I turned around, I saw that Viscose, and I was able to rotate in on him there. He tried to hide, obviously, in the building to avoid Wraith ult, but I was able to get in there and get that kill because I heard that sound cue. So I just want to back at this point. We're down 3 kills to 2. So we don't want to give away the game. It's very possible, especially after probably like 30 minutes or so, that if they wipe your team or they get 5 kills, they're able to push into your base and just win. So once you have a losing fight, it's not worth it to die with your team. You just want to back off and just try to let the enemy team, go do mid-boss. Don't stagger your death timer so that you can try to get another fight in when they do inevitably push your base. So my next item here is actually Soul Rebirth. Really late in the game like this, having Soul Rebirth is such a... Oh, okay. I'm wrong. So the icons do appear together. That's nice. So that tells me that Lash has Soul Rebirth active and he has Rejuvenator at the same time. So that's great. And then you can see my Soul Rebirth icon right here as well. So if you see that icon, it means it's off cooldown and they will revive once you kill them. But yeah, Soul Rebirth late game, it's just really, really impactful. And we actually, I think it was the Vindicta, I believe, was just like, we should all get Soul Rebirth. Like at this stage in the game, it's gone on for so long. One death can be so impactful. Having that revive is just a great way to try to avoid that situation. So if you do get picked, your team can rotate, help you out, and you'll be back up and you can have a 6v6. Great pick by that Wraith there. So she ulted that Paradox and we were able to get the pick. So now we're at the advantage and we want to push it. Or no, we're not. Ivy's dead. How did Ivy die? Well, it's even. So it's definitely winnable. It's even. So we end up winning that team fight. Very chaotic there. I don't know how the Ivy died. I don't even remember how that happened. But so I rotated with the Wraith to get the pick on the Paradox, and then I came back with my team. And thankfully we were able to turn that around and win it. So now at this point, they still have Rejuvenator, so it's going to be very hard for us to push into the enemy base. So really, all that we can do at this point in the game is wait for everyone to get back up and then group together and try to push. So once again, just farming, trying to get more items, trying to get more powerful while I wait for all their death timers to come up. So I'm calling for my team's help here. Infernus actually rotates around on me, which good on his part because I did not expect this to happen. I did get a good ult off there, but their whole team had rotated at that point as well. If I die at this point, that would be horrible. I do have Soul Rebirth, and my team could probably help me out there, but it's just better if I don't spend that cooldown because it's going to be so impactful in another fight, and I don't want to get caught out like that. So I did have to burn my ult there, but I didn't die, thankfully. So the next item I got here, escalating exposure. Once again, I'm just basically buying damage at this point. I just want to have as much damage as possible for these fights so that I can try to chunk people down and let my team go in on them and get kills. So I think Wraith made the call here that she caught someone, so that's why I rotated over here. And we definitely do not want to be fighting in this corridor because of the Wraith ulti. Or the Haze ulti, sorry. The Haze ulti. So I was tempted to go in there, but we're already down one player. So we just tried our best to rotate back into our base so that none of us die. So we're down 2-0 right here, just trying to get some kills over here. Thankfully, I don't know what they were doing at this point. They just like try to go real ham for that shrine, I guess. And we were able to get a couple kills there and really turn this around at that point. So that was a big mistake on their part, in my opinion, because they really separated at that point, and we were able to turn this around. So even though it looked dire there, you just have to look for your opportunities, and they gave us an opportunity. They rotated to that shrine. I guess maybe they needed flex slots. I imagine they did, right? Let's check their items. Yeah, so I think they were really gunning hard for that shrine because they needed the flex slot. You know, we have all 4 of ours, but they're still on 3. So I can imagine that's what happened, but, you know, once you separate like that late game, if a couple of you get caught, it's very easy for the enemy team to turn the team fight around. So it's very important for you to just stick together and fight as a team. Because especially at this point in the game, we're at 43 minutes, which is a pretty long game. It's very easy to just push into the base and kill the patron, which is what we're going to do here. So GG's all around. This was a really fun game. I think Geist is super strong right now. Her bomb buffs have given her a ton of damage. Thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And I just want to shout out the people giving me feedback in the comments. It really, really helps me. I really appreciate it. Sometimes I'm going to get those titles wrong. Sometimes I'm going to get other things wrong. If you guys see something that you think could be improved, please let me know. I'm always happy to hear about that. I know this is another Geist video, and you guys have been asking for different heroes in the comments. I'm definitely going to get to those. We're definitely going to do some replay reviews, and I'm going to get through all of the rosters, so don't you worry. I just wanted to do this Geist video because Geist is, I think, really strong right now. The bomb buffs have really helped her out, really amped her damage, so you guys should check her out. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, all that good YouTube algorithm stuff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.